This is the Black Creative Handbook with your host, Cassandra Lauren Gordon. This is the podcast all about the process stories, not about just the glory stories. How do you get from A to B? Looking at the people who are actually doing the work. And I am here with
Porsché Mysticque still. That's me.
Great.
My name is Porsché Mysticque. I am the CEO and founder of MysticqueRose Publishing Services, and I'm super happy to be here.
Thank you so much. You have such a dynamic name. I feel like you're gonna give us so much with this powerful name, right? For sure. So, okay, cool.
Oh my gosh.
It's strong. It's strong. I'm sure you know your parents named you well. So we're just gonna go in strong into the quick fire questions where we're just asking you random stuff, and you just say what you think on top of your head. So if I say to you, do you like fire or water? You pick one and you say why, and we just carry on. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah. This is
Orange
gonna be fun.
or blue?
Blue.
And why blue?
It's calm. It's cool. It makes me feel happy. Orange is bright and happy, but I like blue. It's peaceful.
Thank you. Amazon Prime or Netflix?
Netflix.
Why is that? They keep putting up their prices, but why? Why you like Netflix?
I hate Jeff Bezos.
Fair enough. Understood. Breakfast or lunch?
Lunch. I don't eat breakfast.
Okay. Are you a night owl or early bird?
Early bird. God, I can't keep my eyes open past 10 p.m.
Okay. Oh, so what time do you wake up then?
Between 6 and 7 a.m.
Oh, I'm going to be a bit here now. Bear with me.
Okay.
An ebook, paper, feely book, physical book.
Paper books, please.
Okay, paper books. I hear you. Okay. A diamond or an amethyst?
Ooh. I'm just gonna go with diamond.
And why?
It comes from coal, and it requires a lot of pressure to be something beautiful. And that kind of resonates with my life and where I've come from.
Understood. Atlanta or New York?
Atlanta, although I've never been to either.
Okay, cool. All my references come from reality TV, so that's how I see the world when I think about American cousins. I have worked in America, but most of my references come from reality TV. So okay, cool. So we've done the quick fire round. So please expand about you and what you do and your company.
Yes. Okay. So MysticqueRose Publishing Services is a self-publishing service provider. So we take care of everything a person needs to birth their book baby, right? I love calling it that. So we do ghostwriting, editing, cover creating, formatting, illustrating, marketing, publishing, offset printing, PR, everything you need to be the author that you want to be. That is what we do. And oftentimes we take an author from an idea. Sometimes they just have a book idea, and we put them all the way to wherever they want to go. Some authors want to be on a public stage. Some authors just want to write. They just want to stay in their little cave and write forever. They just want to be an author. Some authors want to become life coaches or podcast hosts. Whatever their ultimate goal is, we take care of all of that. And yeah, I mean, I love what I do. I have such a passion, or I should say obsession with literature. I'm obsessed with books. And it kind of catapulted me into the career that I am right now. Because for me, it's not just about taking a check, publishing a book, sending it out there. There's so many companies that do that. Let me just take your money. I'm going to publish the book and we're going to be on our way. No, for me, it's about the passion, the love behind it. I have taken so much time to build the team that I have. And I made sure that the people on my team are individuals who love what they do as much as I do. Most of the authors that I worked with have become a part of my family. Some of them are really now my best friends because that's how much love and passion we put into a book. Because when you write a book, there is nothing more, I mean, maybe besides birthing an actual child, but when you write a book, there's so much love and energy and devotion that you put into it. Imagine giving that manuscript to somebody who could care less what happens with the story and what happens with you as an author. No, I can't do that. I just can't do that. So I love a manuscript and any story as if it were my own. And then we utilize that love and that passion to really catapult an author to where they want to go.
Wow, I can just feel the passion of what you're saying, getting someone from an idea, concept to reality into something physical. Because there's so much people I meet. Actually, a woman there's a sport called netball. I don't know if you play it over in the States, but anyway, it's like basketball, but a bit slower. And this woman works for a publishing house. She didn't tell me who it was. And most people in publishing, they just want to write books, but they never do. But you are the person who actually gets them to actually do it. So I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't want to hear another person that, oh, I want to write a book and they don't do it. I'm into action. So,
yes,
you know, really into action.
I feel the same way. I hate that phrase. Like, it's so many of my relatives say that, oh, I've always wanted to write a book. Then what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Because what happens today is not going to be different from what happens tomorrow. So do it today.
Okay, so following on this action, we're going to get into more of your processes and your services. So I'm going to ask you a very random but crude question in a way. How long does it take to write a book? If someone's serious in writing a book, what is the longest you've worked with someone to write a book, and what is the shortest time you've worked with someone to write a book? Say like 200 pages. We're not talking about children, lots of drawings. We're talking about a decent book.
Okay. A decent chapter book. And we're not talking about publishing. We're just talking about writing, the writing phase.
Let's talk about writing, and then we talk let's start with writing. To a really good draft. I mean, a really good, nearly to publish, nearly.
Okay, so the longest it's taken one of my authors is 40 years. The shortest time it's taken one of my authors is 3 or 4 weeks. It took him about 3 or 4 weeks to write his book. So.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, when I go on, social media, the internet, like, you can write your book in 2 weeks or 4 weeks. I'm like, how, Sway? How?
Exactly. Because like, if you're writing, here's how I see it. It's going to take you 2 weeks to write a book, then this is going to be one of those crappy books that you don't care about. Like, it's just going to be something that you want to do really quick and you want to get it out there. But somebody who's writing about something that matters to them, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, if you're writing about something that you're passionate about, it's not going to take 2 weeks. Even if it took you literally 2 weeks to write the manuscript, you're going to spend another 3 or 4 weeks trying to perfect it because you love it so much. You're going to keep going back, rereading your work, seeing what needs to be changed, this, that, the other. So then for you, the process ends up taking that long. Now, I have a program. One of the programs that we offer is the From Mind to Paper program. So that is for an author who just has an idea and they haven't written it, but they know they want to write it and they don't want to utilize our ghostwriter. So that program takes between 6 to 8 weeks, right? But that's because we spend the first 2 to 3 weeks figuring out what type of writer they are. So like, if you're passionate about what you love, it should take about a month.
Okay, you give me hope, because in my head, I want to write a book in my head. So now it's the action bit. By the end of the year, I have this idea. Okay, I hear you. All right, so we talked about writing okay, let's talk about the editing and the publishing, all the things which I don't understand, the technical things which you do to make sure a book is ready and worthy of putting to be published. Could you talk about that process?
Yeah, so I'm going to take you from very beginning to end, just to publish, right? We're going to exclude marketing and PR and all that fun stuff. I have a manuscript in my hand. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to edit it. We're going to do 3 rounds of editing, whether it's developmental editing, copy editing, line editing, and proofreading, 3 to 4 rounds, depending on the book. After editing, we get your cover done. That usually happens at the same time sometimes. So you have the editing, you have the cover, then we move into formatting, which I also call interior design. That's taking a book's insides and making it look amazing. You're setting your table of contents, you're doing the page numbers, your chapter titles, your margins, all of that stuff, designing the inside of the book. Then when that's finished, we can go ahead directly to self-publishing. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about self-publishing here, not traditional publishing. So with self-publishing, those are the steps. You edit, you get your cover done, you format, and you publish. That's it. Now that process usually takes, for me and my team, it takes us anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay. Now you talked about the front cover. So people say don't judge a book about, don't judge a book about its cover, but
don't judge a book by its cover. That is, I don't know who came up with that phrase. That is the most ironic and idiotic phrase I've ever heard, because that is all we do is judge a book by its cover. When you go to a library or you go to a bookstore, what draws you to a book? The cover, not the inside. You have to open it to know what the story is about, but it's the cover that catches your attention. That's why a cover is a marketing tool and not just what authors think. A lot of authors create a cover because they're like, this is what I envision in my head. Okay, great. But will somebody buy it when they see it? Because if they're not, we're going to have to change that cover. It's a marketing tool.
Understood. So how is the process? Because how do you get a cover? How do you know it's right? How does it feel? You know, you haven't put it to the market. How do you know that cover is the best for your client?
So you have to do market research. And this is what I always tell authors. When you become an author, you become a business owner. If you do not have a business mindset, don't become an author. Then just be a writer and maybe do guest posts or ghostwrite or something like that. If you want to be an author, you also have to become an entrepreneur. So in order to figure out what cover works, you have to do comps, which are comparables, books that are very similar to yours. Go online, do some research, figure out books that are in the same genre, that have the same page count. What do those look like? So you see most romantic comedies or these little, these romance novels nowadays, they're usually really bright in color. They're orange, or they have these pastel blues. They catch your attention. There's a woman on the front. Maybe she's on the beach, or you have another woman, she's holding a glass of wine. You need to take a look at the covers that are in your genre and then essentially create a cover around that.
Wow. Okay, I never thought about it that way. So it's like, yeah, it's like you do your competitor analysis, who's in the, oh, okay. But suppose you are like, you know, you're a maverick and you're a bit different. And people say you don't want the same like Harry Potter kind of stuff, you know. How many wizards can you have? I'm sure there's or vampires, but so you want to do something different. How does that work?
You could create the crappiest title. It could be a white page, blank, with just your name and the title, and you could still sell millions of copies. It all depends on your marketing. Because we do live in an age right now where most people aren't going to bookstores and browsing through a bunch of books. They already know about your book because they've heard about it on social media. Then they're going to go buy it. So in this day and age, cover isn't all that important unless you plan on physically getting your book in stores. But if your plan is to just sell online, and that's still print on demand, so you can still have like a physical copy of your book, but you're selling through Amazon or through Barnes and Nobles online and things like that, if people buy your book and it's shipped to their house, cover is not that important. At that point, it's all about visibility and making sure you're marketing. So if you want to be completely unique and you're like, you create this dope, crazy cover that blows people's minds, you've never seen it before, you can still sell the hell out of that thing because your marketing will be top notch. If you don't have a marketing plan in place, you can forget about it.
Wow. Okay. I just thought you just write what you feel. That's what people say. If you're an artist, or you write what you feel, and if it's authentic, you know, people, it will come. So the commercial bit is in it. Oh my God. I never thought about that. People just say, write what you feel.
Well, it doesn't matter. Even if you wrote what you felt, you poured your heart into this book, people aren't going to know you did. And nobody's going to care that you did unless you make them care. Unless you put your book in front of them and say, hey, I put all my love and passion into this, and this is how it's going to affect you when you read it. Because when you're done reading it, you're going to be crying. I guarantee it. And they're going to be like, oh, really? Let me buy the book, read it, and find out and see.
Okay. So the US, I don't know. I just talked to one publisher lady yesterday who was playing sports with netball yesterday. And I was saying, so in England, you probably know this, so sorry if I'm telling you. So in England, you have so in the US, you have the New York bestseller, right? So in England, you have the Sunday Times bestseller, which is on par of like the standard in the UK for best-selling books, right? And I said, how much books do you need to sell in the first week to be on the Sunday Times bestseller? She said 2 to 4, that for the top 10, 2 to 4,000 copies. And I was like, what? 2 to 4,000 copies, and you get into top 10. Obviously, some books sells thousands and millions, depending on the author.
Yeah.
So what makes it a bestseller on Amazon or on the New York Times or whatever the credible book charts in America?
Actually don't know. I do not. I'm gonna
must
listen.
be thousands.
And here's the thing about me. It must be. No, I don't think. I don't really think so. I'm not sure if it goes in. Here's the thing. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I have had some authors who have sold however many copies. They won't tell me how much they sell, right? They just utilize me for the services, and then some of them want to take off and do their own thing. I don't know how many they sell, but I have worked with authors who've become best-selling authors on Amazon. But I know it's very specific to like that niche. So it'll be like the #1 bestseller in books about abuse, #1 bestseller in books about children with grandparent relationships, or something like that. It's very
everyone has their own
specific
chart, right?
So
everyone, and then they want that,
yes.
and they want that screenshot. Oh, #1. So it's just like podcasts. Like, I'm the #1 in entrepreneur plus family plus black plus fashion. Okay, I get you. Okay.
So congratulations.
No, not me. I was just making it up. Like someone.
No, I know.
Like you have your
saying
own...
like to that person. It's like, yeah, when you narrow it down, it's like, okay, good. You got everybody named Mama's a bestseller, something. It's just that's how it works.
I get you. So the reason I ask you these questions, if someone's doing self-publishing instead of going traditional way, what makes it worth their while? Like, what is like they don't want like just them to have all these books. How do they distribute? How did they sell? How did they make their money? That's what I want to know, because I'm just like, it just seems like I think creating the book is it's one part which can be easy, but it's someone to part with their money is another thing.
It's true. Because we already know self-publishing is an investment. It is. It's not just something you do willy-nilly. You have to really invest. The way you earn money is there's 2 different ways you can go about it. Most first-time authors are scared to do a lot of the work on their own. So they utilize publishing services like KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, or Ingram Spark. And there's a bunch of other ones, but those are my 2 favorites. Now, these publishing platforms allow you to upload all of your files and they will print on demand. So that means if I published a book and you wanted to buy it, you go to Amazon, you click buy, they will print it and ship it to you. It's print on demand, right? So and the way they do that is they take the cost of your book. If my book is $14.99, they're going to subtract the cost of printing, and then they're going to take their fee, and whatever's left is what I get. So you actually don't pay out of pocket to publish when you do print on demand, but you do pay out of pocket for the book creation and production process, So there with KDP, you don't pay out of pocket. With Ingram Spark, you pay a $50 setup fee. But once that setup fee is done, you don't pay anything else. It's just how much you get in return. Now that's that way for authors. Me, like I've been publishing books for authors for just about 10 years now. And I'm finally at a point where I'm ready to do my own thing. So I'm writing my first book now. So when I publish my book, I am not going to publish on those platforms. I'm going to sell directly through my website. So I don't have to share my money with anybody. I'm going to do it myself. And that's how I'm going to get my money, because I will be selling directly through my own website.
Understood. So have you built an audience so people will know who you are, obviously through your contacts? So the audience is ready when you started from scratch? Because I don't know, it's like a catch-22. Do you build the audience first and then write the book, or do you just write the book and then you just hope for the best?
Well, no, you start building that audience while you're writing. If you have the idea in your head and you haven't written anything yet, you can at that point start building your audience, like through organic marketing and networking and things like that. Start building your audience before you even put pen to paper. And then as you're going, you'll start to narrow down that niche. Like for me right now, I'm still writing my book. My book is not even going to be finished yet until like, I think the end of this month, right? But I'm already about to release my book trailer. I'm already getting my Instagram page up, and I'm kind of like separating myself from my publishing company. So like there's Porsché Mysticque, the publishing guru, and then Porsché Mysticque, the author. So I'm already creating that space so that I can have my following, I can have my audience before my book is even released, so that you guys are going to be hyped, like, oh, Portia's doing her book. I'm so excited. I can't wait to buy it. It's not even out yet. But guess what? It will drop this summer. So when it drops, you're going to be ready because you know about it. Like, here it is, finally. You rush and go get it because I built up the hype.
Understood. Oh, I'm just thinking for myself or asking for a friend. I'm just like, oh, it's just like it's building it's really following is the currency, isn't it? It's like getting that kind of those people to get you. Okay, cool. All right, so
yeah,
so someone finds out, someone has the idea, they write it, they need help with editing. How do they approach you with editing?
so we take care of the whole process. Rarely does somebody come to us and say, hey, Portia, I just need editing, right? So they'll say, Portia, I have a manuscript. I need you to help me with all of it. And I'll say, all right, the first thing we're going to do is a book audit, and then we'll move into editing. So all they have to do is just, jump into my DMs or send me an email and say, Portia, help me. I have a book that I want to publish. Take it away. And so what we'll do is I'll book a call and I'll have a discussion with you. Say, what is your vision? What is your goal? Ultimately, what do you see? I want you to close your eyes and picture it. And that's what I tell them, like, close your eyes and picture you're holding this book in your hand. How did you get it? Where did you get it from? And what are you going to do with it? Who do you want to give it to? Who do you want to see it? And then I ask them, who's the most important person in your life? Because to me, that is the biggest thing. Who's the most important person in your life? And somebody will say their sister or their mom or their child or something. It's like, okay, picture handing that person your book. How do you want them to react? And then they'll tell me. And that answer right there will tell me exactly what they envision. It tells me exactly how much love or passion they have in it. Because I'm very selective about the people that I work with. Me and my team, we put in so much love, so much energy, so much passion into the book that if you can't match our energy for your own book, we have no business working together. So I ask them that question. And if they say, oh, well, I just want her to be happy. It's not enough. It's not enough. If you hand your book to the person you love the most, and your concern is whether or not they'll be proud of you, whether or not they'll love the book, whether or not it'll truly affect them or it'll change their life or have an impact, that's the type of person I want to work with. Because that means you're going to go hard for this, like I'm going to go hard for you. I'm going to ride with you, and I need you to ride with me. And we're going to take it. We're going to take it to where we need to go. So all of that is discovered during the free consultation. I love, and I don't charge for consultations because I love having conversations with people who don't know the process. Because you're going to pay me to tell you something that, no, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not going to have you pay me to have that discussion. I want you to understand, should you do this? Because not everybody should. Self-publishing is not for everybody. And if you're going to be pouring thousands into this book and you're not even sure you want to do it, just wasted all of your money. And who needs that?
Wow, at least you're being upfront, because it's just, you can't just put things out, even for people on the Instagram and the social media. You can just some people say you can write a book by just talking, doing interviews, but it's the editing. I think it's the editing. It's just take forever, I think. But yeah, okay, I see where you're going. Okay, so it's interesting. How did you set up your editing business? Like, what made you do, your book publishing company? Sorry about that. So how would you, how did you set it up?
Yes, so let's go back. I actually started as a freelance editor and writer. So I spent my time freelancing for different companies, just doing copywriting, doing editing, things like that. And I ended up getting this one guy who was working on a book, and he had been working on this book for 40 years. And he says, Porsche, can you help me edit my book? And I was like, yeah, I got you. So we go through the editing process. I learned so much from him. The guy was incredible. The story was incredible. And then he asked, could I help him publish? And I was like, no, I can't. I don't know how to do that. And he's like, please, I need you to help me. So I was like, okay, bet. So I did the research. I figured I gave him all the information that I had. And then I utilized that information with another client that I was working with. And she had the similar situation. She said, help me publish. And I was like, I just learned how. So I'm going to do it. So I published for her, and that we had ended up developing a really incredible relationship. And she started crying. And I was like, okay, so this means that I did something good for somebody. I was able to create something for her. And so at that point, I was like, I got to do this for the rest of my life. So a couple years down the road, and my husband and I decided to go ahead and finally take that leap where I would form the company, and MysticqueRose Publishing was born.
Wow. Just like that. You're just like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, because I was working as a freelancer, and I was like, I'm tired. Because it's not enough. Number one, it wasn't enough money. And I had to keep telling authors who were coming to me, asking me to help them publish, that I couldn't help them because it's just me. I can't do everything. So I could only take on 1 to 2 clients at a time. And so some people I would just say, I'm sorry, I can't. And it would devastate me because they would have amazing stories and they would have these incredible goals. And I just felt bad to say, I can't help you. You're going to have to find somebody else. And then they end up with somebody who doesn't care. And I was like, no, I can't do that. So I decided, go ahead.
You mentioned your husband. I forgot to ask you if I should have done it, if I was, a bit creative with structure, but usually I ask more about you at the beginning. But since you mentioned your husband, you mentioned in your bio, we're doing some research on this, on you and on your business. But tell me about how you end up where you are right now and with your husband.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I am currently in Nigeria living the best life, like the best life. I swear, I'm so happy. I moved to Nigeria in 2019. I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA. And when I was 16, my family and we moved to Southern California. My life in that household was a true facade. I grew up in a household where a lot of our actions were monitored. Everything was questioned. It was like you had a chokehold and you had to pretend to be happy in order to survive. Because if all of a sudden you weren't happy, then it was like, oh, well, you got to leave. You can't live here. You don't want to be in this situation. You don't want to be doing what we're doing. So I gave up my scholarship that I had won. I'd given up the ability to go to college because I was told that if I went to college, I would bankrupt the family and I would no longer be a part of the family. I would essentially be disowned. So I gave it up. I was like, fine, I won't go to college. And so I just spent my early adulthood, like just cooking for the family, shopping for the family, and not the fun kind of shopping, the grocery shopping for the family. And I wasn't doing anything. So when I was at my lowest, I decided, let me just do something with my life. When I was younger, I used to learn German. I went to a German magnet school. So I decided, let me hop back online and just pick up my German for something to do so I don't kill myself. So I hop back online. I go to a language exchange site, and dudes is just jumping in my DM with all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I ain't got this to do. Like, I didn't come here for this. So the day I decided to delete my account, I got this really long message from a guy analyzing my profile, telling me what he liked and what he didn't like. And I was like, who is this dude? And I was like, listen, I'm deleting my account, but here's my email if you want to catch up. The next day, he sent me an email, and that blossomed into a 5-year secret relationship that I was having online that none of my family members knew about. I had fallen madly in love with this guy who was a Nigerian. Now, of course, in the back of my mind, everybody says that, oh, Nigerians are scammers. So I'm thinking, this guy is not serious. He just wants me because I'm an American and blah, 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 blah. But then I started developing a relationship with his family. So I know I'm telling you the whole story. So I
don't want to be crude, and you don't know me, but in my head, I'm thinking 90 Days Fiance, but this is a happy ending, right? So sorry about that. I'm not trying to be, and I just want to put it out there. I am with I live with a Nigerian, so my partner is not Nigerian. So please, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what it is. So my older sister, who was in the same situation that I was in, she had gotten into a physical altercation that was really bad for her with one of the people in the house. And at that moment, she was like, I gotta leave. I can't stay here. And she was like, I want you to leave with me. And I was like, oh my God, I was so scared. Nobody knew about my relationship. I eventually told her. And the work that I was doing online was also in secret. So I was earning all of this money online in my PayPal account, and it was just growing. It was like a nest egg that was just growing because I didn't have the means to spend it. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. I wasn't doing anything. So it was just sitting there. So I was like, all right, let's go. So we literally packed our bags in the middle of the night and we left. 3 months later, I decided before then, but 3 months later, I had hopped on a plane to come to Nigeria to see the guy that I had been dating online for 5 years. And the plan was for me to come and see if we vibe in person. But the day that I arrived, he had planned this whole surprise where he said he wasn't there. And it was actually his cousin and his oldest brother that picked me up from the airport. He is a medical student, so he had to take exams. So he wasn't even in the state, he said. So he ended up surprising me and ended up being there. And he proposed to me that day that I arrived. And I said yes. And then we got married 3 months later. And now we've been together ever since.
What? I need to take some notes. That's what I need to do. I've been with this guy, Nigerian guy, 4 years. Nothing. No, I'm joking. I'm messing.
Oh.
I'm just joking. It's just really bad British humor. Self-deprecating humor. No, but no, he's a good guy, not a scammer. So yeah, so this sounds just amazing. I think this is your book. This is it. It's such a great story.
Telling me that. It is, but I am not writing about my life. No, okay. I am a fiction writer. So my book is a crime drama. That's what that is. I don't want to write a book about my life because there are so many different pieces to it that I often leave out because it does not just implicate me, it implicates other people and it tells their story. And I'm not one of those individuals that can do a tell-all book and not care how it affects the people that are in it. I just can't do that. So for that reason, I will never publish a book about my life. But if you follow me and if you watch the Black Creators Handbook podcast, then you'll know where I come from. And that's enough. That's enough. No more than that. We're good.
Understood. You have to protect yourself online because, I do the podcast, I do stuff about jewelry, but I'm not putting says me. I'm not putting my personal life out there because you just don't know. You just don't know. Maybe it's like a Caribbean or Black thing or believe in third eye, and I don't know. I don't. What I put out, and just want everyone to have happy vibes about it. I was going to ask you this question. Being a creative business owner, I'm guessing you have a virtual team. So how do you manage your virtual team? But
Yeah, so all I would say about 70% of my team members are actually here in Nigeria, but I've not
okay.
met them in person. I've not met any of my team members in person. We are all working remotely. And the reason for that is because the way I put my team together was from people that I had worked with as a freelancer. So there are certain things that I did for authors that those authors already had somebody else working on something. Like I was an editor and they already had the cover creator, and I had to connect with the cover creator to talk about this or talk about that. And so through these mutual clients that we had, I met them and we developed a relationship that way. So when I decided that I was going to do MysticqueRose Publishing, I was like, I want you on my team, and I want you and you and you. And so I started picking the people that I had come across as a freelancer, and I said, hey, you want to do something big? And they were crazy enough to say, yeah, even though we had never met. None of us have ever met in person. I mean, we did Zoom and stuff, but they were like, yeah. And so we came together, and God, it's just been incredible. It's been incredible.
Amazing.
But it is fun working remotely. I have a project manager because we're all in many different time zones. Um, so but the good thing about putting a book together is that it's not synchronous. Like, you know what I mean? Like we don't have to be online at the exact same time, working and talking. Like, no, there are different steps. It's like, okay, editing round one, that's gonna be Sarah. Sarah's in the US. When she's done editing, she'll send it back to us for review. Then we move to round two. Christina, she's in Nigeria. Send it to her. She's good. Editing round three, that's me. I'm good. Then we move it to Milos. Milos is the cover designer. He's in Serbia. Send it to him. He's good. Then you send it to Shayun. He's the formatter. Shayun is in Nigeria. We're good. Maria, the project manager, is in the Philippines. So we're all over the place. Then you have marketing. Esther, she's in Russia. So like everybody is in different areas. And it just works though, because we utilize things like Zoom and WhatsApp and Trello, different platforms that allow us to connect and vibe. And then we have Zoom parties to make sure that everybody's happy. And
Wow,
we stay
that is the
connected.
dream. The dream. Like my dream in the next couple of years is like, how can I be fully a nomad? Like I don't have to, I can just do a thing online, but be making jewelry is a bit different. But if I can just somehow do that, that is a dream. So I'm so glad I met someone who fully can manage their business online. So that is okay. Hats off to you. The last thing I ask on this podcast is about what is the best testimonial you've had from a client?
Ooh, okay, the best. Okay, the best testimonial that I have. There's two, but I'm just gonna choose the one. The one was her name is Sandra Quilan Villain. She is a children's book author, and I think she was the best testimonial because I worked with her before I had MysticqueRose Publishing. I was her editor, and here's the thing that got me when we were working on the project together. She had no idea what she wanted the cover to look like. She had no idea what she wanted the inside to look like. Nothing. And I was like, just sleep on it. Just think about it. Let me come up with a couple of concepts and then I'll send it to you. So she was like, okay. So she's in the US and I was here in Nigeria. So I put the concepts together and then I sent it to her. When she woke up that morning, she saw it in her email. When she saw it, she called me and was like, what did you do? It's like, what? She's like, how did you do that? I'm like, do what? She was like, I literally dreamt about this. Apparently, she had dreamt some years back about what her book was going to look like. Then she had that same dream when I guess while she was asleep, which was when I was working on the cover. And so it was like for her, she felt like I was able to like dive inside her mind and really bring it to life. And when she said that and she talked to me about how much it meant to her that I was able to do that and how much I listened to her and how much I cared about what she was going through. And I made it my own book. I even involved my husband. My husband ended up helping me name the book with her. Like all of that was involved and she was just so happy. And I know that it's simple, like her happiness is just something simple that most people who are in the service industry would say, oh, that's great. But her happiness to me isn't just, oh, she's happy. Her happiness is like, this is everything for her, which makes it everything for me. Just to see that she was so astonished by my ability to create something that she had envisioned. And that alone made her happy. And so she, after that, she went on to tell everybody about what I had done for her and things like that. So I had several referrals just from her. And yeah, I think that would have been one of the best testimonies.
Wow. I can just feel your passion to get from A to B, the process of getting someone like their book baby and making it the best what it is. And you know, I'm so glad I've met you and you talk about it, because sometimes when you see, not you, but sometimes you see these people like, oh, I can help you. You just think about the dollar sign. I'm not thinking about the person. And I feel like you give like a very personalized and person-centered service, which, you know, I've just, you know, for me in different worlds, people just try to not scam you, but not take advantage. It's just about volume. Just like take. And obviously you need to make your money, but just the passion for you of you doing your books, and now you're in the kind of the journey of writing your own book, having that extra empathy and that perspective. I just hope that people will really see that. And you know, you employ people all over the world, so everyone has a different view and a different, you know. So yeah, I'm so happy that I heard your story and how you came about and how you just went for it. So it's very, very fearless of just doing things in a very proper way. So thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I know
I do like that we're fully transparent.
Yes, I know that it's going to be in the
Okay.
show notes, but just for the audio people out there in these streets, could you just say how we can contact you and your services?
Yes. So you can send me an email, info@MysticqueRosePublishing.com. That's Mystique, MysticQue. It is not like the word. It is like my middle name. There's a C in it. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Clubhouse at Mystique Rose PS. You can give me a call if you guys have WhatsApp. +1, because it's the US, 901-205-9804. So you can give me a call, give me a text. I'll send you a link so that you could book a free consultation call. We'll do it via Zoom. We'll get you in that room and we'll just talk about what it is that you want to create.
Perfect. As I said, it's all in the show notes. Please connect with her. If you think about writing a book, contact her and her team. So yeah, thank you so much, Porsché. I really do appreciate you, and you're inspiring me to eventually one day write the book. And I hope your book comes out soon, and let us know when it does come out and we can talk about it. Much appreciated. This is the Black. Thank you. This is the Black Creative Handbook. And as always, we will speak soon.